Rivalries. The act of two people or groups engaging in a lasting competitive relationship. As long as man's existence dates back, rivalries have always coincided within it. Fueled by rivalries, man has been able to push each other far past the limits of what we once considered humanly possible. Take rivalries such as Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, Ferruccio Lamborghini and Enzo Ferrari. With their adversary, they were able to forever change human innovation and creativity. The moments forever ingrained in our memories are the classics, like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson versus Vin Diesel. Need we go more modern? DC and Marvel left behind comic books a long time ago and are somehow still going at it. Edward Cullen and Jacob Black raised the bar for an entire genre of sexy teen antagonists. And I'll throw Bill Gates and Steve Jobs out there, just to pull it back after the Twilight reference. However, there is one rivalry that one may say overshadows all these, and just perhaps holds far more importance. A rivalry that sheds light on the true progression of human competitiveness, and where that may lead, good or bad. I am, of course, talking about the rivalry of Pat Mineo versus Flow Wrestling. To understand the true depth of the contest between these foes, we have to take a closer examination of each. Pat Mineo has been described by many as a lot of things. However, his Twitter bio describes him as the fearless founder of the Facebook group The Wrestling Room. This is a group page that is essentially an open forum for anything wrestling related to be posted. The page was started in November of 2019, but Pat has been present in the deep, dark underbelly of wrestling forums for ages.
When I was in 7th grade, I started posting on a forum under the name Mr. Good Picks on a forum called Best on Mat. And I did that throughout high school, even when I was competing, and kind of no one knew who I was, and then they announced who I was. So I've been doing it a long time.
It was there Pat unknowingly began his career as a freelance reporter, throwing any of his latest wrestling insider nuggets out for the world to digest. However, Pat's reporting style has often been described as abrasive, and it did not take long for Pat to begin rubbing some page admins the wrong way. Pat would frequently find himself banished from forums, forced to browse the streets of the internet until he could find another website to call home. This is when he knew he had to create the Wrestling Room, a safe space for all wrestling-related content to congregate, regardless of legitimacy. From there, through his aggressive reporting style and clout tactics, the name Pat Mineo began circulating rapidly through wrestling social media in the late winter and spring of 2020. Pat shot up the ranks of wrestling media notoriety, and the Wrestling Room population ballooned. Pat's point of pride and biggest breaks came from being able to drop the latest scoops before any other media outlet. Soon enough, these outlets began letting Pat know that he was stepping on their toes. That's where the second half of this rivalry comes into play. Flow Wrestling is a sports broadcasting and streaming media service based in Austin, Texas. Founded in 2006, it started as a free video archival website for coaches and competitors to post matches. It quickly evolved into a full-on wrestling media content service, later adopting a subscription-based model. Providing latest news, rankings, event coverage, and even featured Flow films, Flow Wrestling was the main hub for wrestling consumption early on, and they have never let that position go. For many years, Flow sat at the top, unchallenged. The landscape was barren with competition, and with the market on lock, Flow's trajectory was only upward. Slowly but surely though, a rogue Mineo began popping up on Flow's radar, creeping into their peripheral. Flow, an established and professional organization, did their best to pay no mind to a media newbie such as Mr. Mineo. But as Pat kept breaking scoop after scoop under the industry giant's nose, Flow could no longer hold their silence. It was on a quiet day in April when Flow Wrestling and Mr. Pat Mineo's timelines publicly crossed paths, marking the beginning of a rivalry and a shift in the paradigm.
Okay, I'm gonna do this, I asked the wrestler Nomad, I said, Nomad, should I do this? He said, no, what's it going to help? What's it going to do? I'm going to do something I'm probably going to regret. I'm going to respond to Pat Menio. Pat believes he is in some sort of a competition with me or Flow Wrestling to break news. We are not in a competition. You are in a competition by yourself.
Little did Christian know he should have heeded the advice of his sage comrade Nomad. Flo did their best to forget the response video and move on, but Pat most definitely did not. For months, the feud continued virtually, the animosity only building between parties. The summer eventually played out for both, and it seemed towards the end perhaps the dust was beginning to settle. But in early October, this story took a dark turn, culminating in an event no one could have seen coming. Someone had sent Pat an extra-large shipment of Dookie straight to his front doorstep. And right away, Mr. Minio had an answer for who it may have been. His arch-nemesis, Flow Wrestling. To say wrestling Twitter lost its shit would be putting it mildly.
I mean, I hate to see that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Pat, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home. I want you to take that shit. I want you to flush it down the toilet, okay?
It's a lot of poop, though.
It's
a big bag of poop.
Yeah.
It's like they had to pay someone had to pay like $15 for it, plus shipping. Like,
that's a lot of.
it's a lot of poop, dude.
Listen, you'd have to barter something. You'd have to trade something for that. $15. You had to splurge that much plus shipping.
I mean, to spend $15 on poop is just funny to me.
When I first heard about this, my initial reaction was, "Holy shit!" While it is disgusting and very petty, a very weird thing to do, I also see the comic aspects in it, and I guess I'm just torn between if I'm disgusted by this move by potentially Flow Wrestling if they did it, or if I'm impressed and hold it to a high level of respect.
Right now at this point, the controversy is, who would do such a thing? Where are you at in your life that you are sending, I don't know, elephant dung to another human being? And, I think about this and I wonder how low you have to be into the depths of the 2020 that is for everyone. And, I'm confused, a little bewildered. I don't even quite know what to say. Kind of like how I feel after that Browns loss to the Steelers, just turned upside down in my head. Thought when things were going the right way in 2020, and now people are sending elephant dung to one another, I guess, is revenge or whatever we're doing now in America. I don't know, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Stupid. You're dumb. Dumb. Idiot. Stupid take. Oh, Pat Minio. Honey, somebody said Pat Minio poop!
Now, Zach knew I was a crap connoisseur of sorts, so he called me up and I flew out to StaleMates headquarters in Iowa immediately. That's me, in the back of the truck. I'm Tyler, the other part of StaleMates. Zach and I had no time to waste on this investigation, so we dove into it immediately.
All right, let's start at the top. Flow Wrestling. This is who Pat actually thinks that it is. For legal purposes, we're going to use Flow from Progressive. That way we don't get any copyright claims. Underneath them, you got Piles. Now, we all know that Piles and Minio go way back. They hate each other. It's a rivalry for the ages. I do think, though, if he did it, it would be a little bit too obvious. So I don't have him as suspect number one, but he is at the top of the list.
Piles of poop.
Okay, I'll see what you did there. Next, over here, we got Spay and Bray. Now, this is where things kind of get interesting. So just recently, right before Pat got sent the elephant dung, Spay and Bray got kicked out of Pat's Facebook group, The Wrestling Room. Now, if you're wondering how they were in there in the first place, they got in at the very beginning before people knew that they were Flow employees, and they actually blocked Pat on Facebook, so that way whenever Pat would search for Flow employees like he does monthly, he couldn't find them because they were blocked. So whenever people in the wrestling room would post flow content, they would report it back to Facebook. Actually resulted in Pat getting a 3-day suspension from Facebook. Pat did some digging, ended up finding out that it was the two of them in the group. He called up Facebook and said, can you guys search for these two guys' names? Found out they're in the group, got them kicked out. A couple of days later, boom, elephant dung on his doorstep.
And now that I think about it, just the other day, I went to Spade's profile and I looked at his picture. In it, he's taking a picture of a poop emoji.
Solid work, Tyler. I like that. Up here, we got the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. We all know that the Hawkeye fans and Pat hate each other. Pat's been kicked out of several Hawkeye chat rooms, Hawkeye Report being one of them. He got kicked out of there. Underneath them, you got PD3. PD3 and Pat went at it all summer long. Both these guys were in the Twitter streets going at it, nose to nose. We made a bunch of fire content about it, a bunch of memes. Pat made the board as well.
Just the other day, I was scoping out PD3's OnlyFans. There's a post of him on the toilet.
You have a PD3 OnlyFans subscription?
Yeah.
Is that on the business card?
It's only $6 a month.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad to know we're paying for that. We also have the Bodring boys up here. Just recently, in the past 48 hours, they both got into it. Don't really see it being them, but because there is that friction there, they made the board as well.
Yeah, I just don't really see them making a stink about it.
All right, now that we got everybody up here laid down, we can start making memes. We can start going back and forth, spitballing ideas.
Something just wasn't adding up. Zach was too excited about this all. That's when it crossed my mind. Could this be an inside job? Could your business partner and best friend be capable of doing all this just for a quick shot of clout? I had no choice but to bring Zach in for questioning.
We started getting paid. Next thing you know, we're rolling in the dough. We're quitting our jobs. You're moving to Iowa. Let's go.
Think maybe you would want to sit down for a quick interview?
Like me sit down and interview these guys? I don't know if like Flo and those guys.
No, you sit down and I ask you questions.
Like about questions about these, or you get like?
Yeah, about this.
Okay, I don't care. Yeah, I'll do anything for content.
Let's just do a quick sit down.
All right.
Interviewing your closest friend is never easy, but as a scat expert, I knew I had to get to the bottom of this shit.
Which camera am I looking at?
Right here.
That one back there?
Yeah. Please state your name.
My name's Zach Bogle.
And what is your role at StaleMates?
I am the founder and CEO.
One of your interviews that first went well was with Mr. Minio, correct?
Yes, we interviewed Pat at the very beginning. We actually covered the beef with him and Piles. And after that, we did a couple interviews with Pat. That's pretty much the extent of our relationship.
You could say your interviews with them gave you a good push in views, correct?
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, those are some of our most watched videos that we did was with Pat.
So StaleMates has been going pretty well for you this past few months?
Yeah, things have been going good. We are, views are going up, subscriptions are going up, followers, everything.
So you get kind of a thrill from getting those views?
It's a good feeling. Yeah, I like it.
Would you say you're addicted to that feeling?
Addicted? That's kind of a strong word. I mean, where are you going with this?
Just how far would you be willing to go to get the views? That's what I'm getting at.
I don't understand what this has to do with the documentary. Like, this is starting to get like a little dicey.
I mean, I'll be honest, Zach, I can't rule out any suspect.
You're blaming me? You think that I did it?
You seem kind of excited.
I paid for you to come here from Colorado. I paid $100 on our business card, for actually out of my own money to have you come here. And now you're starting to blame me.
I mean, all you can talk about is
I'm done with this. This is Tyler. I've known you since first grade, and you're gonna blame me that I am the one that sent Pat elephant poop. You think I have time for that?
Don't be a turd, Zach. You're a piece of Zach.
What, Steve? I don't have time for this. What happened? I just got blamed by my best friend that I'm the one who sent the elephant poop. I didn't do it. I'm getting in the car. I'm going. I'm out. He can do this. He can do this all on his own. He doesn't need me. I'm done, Steve. I'm done. You haven't known, this is your first day with Tyler, but he does this stuff all the time. It's like he can't help himself. Just like he always injects himself into the middle of the equation. So I'm gonna show him, like, if he wants to be like this, okay, well, run the ship yourself, man. Like, you're the captain now. Like, of course, now we have freaking Karen in the minivan. I'm serious, Steve. You haven't known him that long, but I've known him like my whole life. He always does this kind of stuff. This is your first day at StaleMates, and you just got to witness the last day. I don't understand why he would think that I would be the one to send the poop. He's the one who's been obsessed with poop like our entire life. He used to go on runs just to go into the woods to take a dump.
It was at this moment that I realized that StaleMates was guilty of sending the poop. But it wasn't me. It was Tyler. It all makes too much sense now. When I think about our conversations earlier in the day, Tyler had so many poop references that it was becoming too obvious.
I mean, piles of poop. And I looked at his picture. In it, he's taking a picture of a poop emoji. There's a post of him on the toilet. Don't be a turd, Zach. But as a scat expert, I knew I had to get to the bottom of this shit.
There's no doubt in my mind. I could smell it a mile away.
I gotta turn around. We gotta go back. Tyler, it was you, wasn't it? I knew it was you this whole time. I started having these flashbacks. Yo, what are you doing, man? Steve, get this. Are you watching Elephant?
Oh, no.
Dude, again? Dude, I knew it was you. We were driving down the road and all of a sudden I started thinking, you know what? Who's the one guy out of the both of us that would do this? And it would be you. You try to turn this on me and I come down and I see this. Did you do it?
Okay. It's just, StaleMates has been doing so well, and after the Tom Brand interview, you're getting so much attention. I felt like I was gonna get left behind.
So you sent somebody elephant poop?
Yes, I sent Pat the elephant poop, so we would have to make an investigation video about it.
Dude, and you were blaming me. You try to, like, you can't let poop get in between this, man.
I mean, that's not the case. I mean, I still think we got some great content on our hands here.
Yeah, but we paid Steve a lot of money, and I paid for your flight to come down here. We even bought that poster board at Staples last night. That was my fiance's money. She's a teacher. Do you hate teachers?
Zach, I swear, this is gonna be worth it. It's gonna get views.
Dude, I'm done, man. I can't do this. That's not what we do. We don't do mockumentaries here. We do the real deal. Did you see the journalism that I did with Tom Brands? You're on your own.